Hello, my name's Michael Lewis. I make guitars and mandolins, and I do repair work. I enjoy life here.
Gourmet Guitars went on a quest to find the ultimate handmade D'Angelico guitar of modern times. Our path led us deep into the beautiful redwood forests of Northern California. Here, Michael Lewis builds an exclusive personal line of instruments, as well as the only officially authorized D'Angelico replicas in the United States.
I got started in instrument making many years ago. I wanted a banjo. My dad found an article in Popular Mechanics, how to make your own banjo for $16. You know, if that thing had worked out the way I had hoped it had the first time, that would have been all there was to it. I would have had my banjo and gone on, and who knows what I'd be doing today. But the banjo didn't turn out too well, and so I had to make another neck for it, and I had to do something else, make another part, and redo this and redo that. And by the time I got it going, my guitar playing friends said, well, could you fix this? Or what do I do about this? Or, you know, it just kind of evolved. And then it kind of went into hibernation for a good number of years while I was racing motorcycles and working in motorcycle stores and like that. But after about 10 years of the motorcycle stuff, I decided I wanted to live out in the country. I was never happy living in town. So we bought this property here, and I took a leave of absence to build the house. So I built the shop, which is what we live in now. I had to build another shop. Anyway, I just never went back. And so I've been making our way doing instrument repair and making instruments and selling them ever since. I've been very, very fortunate. I think we've had a lot of unseen help.
This is an example of a fine, handmade D'Angelico guitar that's been made in modern times.
Gourmet Guitars had to travel back in time to find out more about the man who set the standard for contemporary archtop construction. Our journey led us to New York City. Here, we met with today's experts whose lives were personally interconnected with the founding member of the New York legacy, Mr. John D'Angelico.
When I was 7 years old, we had the first TV in the neighborhood, and I remember when the TV started to work, it was only 2 hours a day that was showing. I saw this man, small man with a big guitar playing. Now I'm in New York in 1974, 75, let's say. And I remember it was a store across the street called Silver Holland, and I walked there and I see a line of guitars that remind me of the guitar when I was 7 years old. There was big arch tops, and it happened to be the Angelicos and the Quistos.
D'Angelico is a dear subject to archtop aficionados.
The guitar is a very incredible, beautiful, very sexy instrument.
Some of the jazz greats actually began their careers playing D'Angelico guitars. John D'Angelico started making instruments many years ago in the late 20s.
He was the man at the time. I think the knowledge has surpassed vastly what he had developed.
New York, basically jazz, from the 30s.
The guitar at that time was primarily a rhythm instrument. There was, not too much in soloing going on. It had to come across on stage, and with bands of 15, 25 pieces, guitar unamplified, it's a real challenge. They needed very large guitars, and they needed as much volume out of that guitar as possible. And John D'Angelico was always looking for ways to make that sound better on his instruments.
D'Angelico worked through the time that the bebop era happened, and that's when his guitars really became the guitars that we think of as the premier guitars.
He obviously made a historical statement, doing what he did in his place in our history and in our culture.
The D'Angelico family name was actually licensed and picked up by GHS Corporation, and they make GHS strings. And GHS wanted to celebrate D'Angelico's memory by having authentic guitars handmade in his style. They finally hit upon Michael Lewis.
I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I started to do as much homework as I could. Started reading and went and sought out D'Angelico guitars to look at them and to measure them and like that. And was very fortunate to have one right in Auburn.
Michael Lewis's guitar is one that I'd like to feel John D'Angelico would be very, very happy and proud to have his name on an instrument.
Anyway, this is going to be a 18-inch over-the-top New Yorker. This one up here is the New Yorker Deluxe, which is the basic New Yorker trim. This one will be a New Yorker Supreme.
This is the 16-inch New Yorker Deluxe Supreme.
Here's the inside. The 71-degree intersection, this angle. And the joint that I use in the X-brace is not like the original D'Angelicos. This is one continuous piece, not interrupted. This piece is fitted before this one is, other one is fitted. And once this is glued in, then this one is cut and just butted up against the other one. And once it's glued in, everything is all leveled up, and then I glue a cap across the top. I don't know if you can see the little cap glued in right there. It makes it very strong because the load, as the strings are pressing down, is to stretch this surface of the brace. And so it's that little cap is taking all the tension, and wood is very strong in a tensile direction. So, and I've got all my arching and graduation and everything all done, and bring down to the recurve, and I leave this shelf around the edge, and that's what the router will ride on. It'll index on that little shelf as I cut the binding ledge in. For this D'Angelico guitar, it'll be a very wide bunch of purfling in there.
Every place the lines make a turn, you see perfection.